All right, welcome back, you guys. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about the system in the state of Florida and what it takes to become a caregiver, whether that's a relative caregiver, a non relative caregiver, or a foster parent in the state of Florida. I wanted to kind of talk about this because with the children that we have placed in our care, um, there was even at one point a little bit of confusion on our part, and what their status was and how this particular system works. And now we've gotten a lot more educated on the system and what the different terminology means and what are the differences between the different programs and why you may want to be in one program versus another. So let's begin. Any child that it becomes a ward of the state, once they're placed into your care, you can be given a few different terms for what you are. As the legal person taking care and giving care to that person, you're going to be deemed either a relative caregiver or non relative caregiver. A relative caregiver would be someone who is related to the child in some way, shape, or form biologically, and they are taking care of that child. And a non relative caregiver is someone who's willing to provide care to that child who is not related to that child or the family biologically. So now, when you become a relative caregiver, there are there's basically the same criteria as becoming a non-relative caregiver. You're going to have to undergo some type of background check as well, through DCF, as well as a home study. They're going to come, they're going to visit, they're going to make sure generally that your house is safe, that you can provide care for the children, and that you don't have any type of violent crimes or drug related crimes or any other crimes that could prevent you from being a good placement for the child. Um, Once you have the child in your care, if you are a relative caregiver, you can actually apply for cash assistance for that child, as well as you can apply for EBT and relative caregiver payments. Once you receive the relative caregiver payments, you will have to report those payments, and then those payments can actually um, stand in place in the calculations for any other financial assistance that you'd receive. Now, for non relative caregivers, it's slightly different. And this was our initial placement with the children that we have in our care. And non relative caregivers are basically not able to apply for cash assistance. However, they can apply um, for EBT benefits, as well as the WIC EBT or anything else related to that for that child. It will, of course, be calculated off of household income, and the same would apply as you can apply for the non relative caregiver funds, in which those funds would be calculated against you being able to have EBT for those children and whether or not you will qualify or not. Now, with children being placed in your care as relative or non relative caregivers, the children are actually still wards of the state. However, they're not technically in foster care at that point. Therefore, if the case proceeds and you end up adopting the children, then the children would not receive all of the same benefits that they were receiving while in care. as far as the monthly stipend, as well as college after um, they reach that age, as well as the ELC that relative and non relative caregivers receive, those benefits for students to go, or for the children to become students in a early learning coalition daycare, um, or early learning education center. So, with that being said, moving over, you can convert yourself, which is what we did, from a relative or non relative caregiver into a level 1 foster home. Now, generally speaking, foster homes are places that give care to children placed in the system. Now, when we talk about this, we generally are talking about levels 2 through 5 foster homes when we think of foster homes, and children that are placed in someone else's care in the state. And typically, this person does not know the child. Well, with you being in a situation of having a relationship with the child prior, as well as not having a prior foster care license, now it opens you up to become a level 1 foster parent rather than a level 2 through 5 foster parent. Basically, what you'll do is you'll take some um, licensing courses through the state. Uh, you will have to have an additional home study that will occur, and you'll be placed into what is called the GAP program. And the GAP program will allow you to transition yourself from the non relative or relative caregiver program over to the foster care program. Now, some of the things that happen in this process, of course, you have to be fingerprinted. You have to take your educational courses. This particular foster care license is only going to be applied to the children that you have from relative or non-relative caregivers. It's only going to be applied to those children that you already have in your care. It's not going to allow you to get other children, and you still have to meet all the licensing safety requirements of a traditional um, foster home. It will help you into also getting a slightly larger monthly stipend, as well as that monthly stipend will be guaranteed throughout the duration of you having the children, as the foster care program has state funds that are allocated to it, and it will always receive those funds, and it's going to receive those funds faster, um, as well as they're guaranteed in relation to the non-relative and relative caregiver programs. So, with that being said, as always, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys learned something um, during this video. If you did, please don't hesitate to like, comment, or subscribe, and make sure to share these videos out with others so that they're able to receive this information. As always, thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next one.